Oh, Mrs. Garcia, you're a school counselor and new homeowner and grad student. You're an ANDER. National University supports the whole you, so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at nu.edu.
This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Sometimes you just got to speak it into existence. No, I'm not talking about Aaron Judge walking. I'm so sorry, Will Hill. Aaron Judge did ground into a double play, so he did not get the walk. I'm Scott Seidenberg. He's Will Hill. This is VSiN Primetime here on VSiN, the sports betting network. I'm talking about my hockey bet for this evening, which is the New York Rangers over 3.5 goals on their team total at plus 120 odds. A scoreless first period, Will, so my bet was not looking good. And during the commercial break, I was lamenting over placing this wager, and I was kind of just talking myself into the handicap. Like, why did I do this bet? And the reason why I did this bet was because this is the last game of the regular season. Rangers are at home. Sure, they want to put up a W. This is also the final game in the 40-year broadcasting career of legendary future Hall of Fame broadcaster Sam Rosen for the New York Rangers, and I'm sure they want to give him something to get excited about. They want to hear him call a couple of goals, but from the Tampa Bay perspective, I just don't think Tampa's going to try and block any shots tonight. It's the final game of the regular season. They got a playoff series coming up. No one wants to get hurt. They got a backup goaltender in Johansson in net tonight, so I figured the Rangers might light the lamp. It was 0-0, but right as we came back from commercial break, the Rangers scored a shorthanded goal. 1-0 Rangers here in the second period. I still think they get to 4 goals, so sweat that out with me, Will. Maybe you get a good plus money price on it, okay?
I'm rooting for you because it looks like you gave away a winner with your Mets, which you were spot on when you liked the over in game. And then before you could blink, there's 4 or 5 runs on the board, and you liked it 6.5, maybe 10 minutes ago. And a couple minutes later, we got 5 spot here, 4-1 Mets. So it's tough.
Yeah,
I feel like doing all these shows, it's tough to watch the games, do the show, get the bets in, and it's a long-running tradition doing all of these live shows, listening to the shows, doing shows where you like something, but you just don't have the time to get it in, but the thought process is right, and those bets just seem to have a high hit rate. Maybe they don't. Maybe just our brain playing tricks on us, and we always feel bad for ourselves as bettors. We always feel like the universe is out to get us, but it does feel like those where, man, I have a handicap, I have an angle, I just don't quite get it in for whatever reason, and that bet seems to go through more than it doesn't.
Yep, that's how it works. Live total in that Mets game is now 10.5, as you mentioned, with a 4-1 score. I did mention this is the final day of the NHL regular season, so there's nothing to play for. Everything has already been decided. There is a fun game going on between the Capitals and the Penguins. Sidney Crosby against Alexander Ovechkin. Who knows if it's the final time that's going to happen. 1-1 Capitals and Penguins at the start of the second period. And still to come up later on tonight, the Flames are at the Kings, but these are backup goaltenders in. These are teams that don't want to take any chances, players that might be playing for some milestones, like something that we always talk about at the end of the NFL regular season, Will, and the sports books completely catch up to this, is players going for either contract incentives or just personal milestones. But I feel like if you can target this in other sports, like whether it's the NBA, as we talked about the other day with, who was it from the Nets? For the Knicks, Mikal Bridges, who just wanted to get his consecutive game streak in and then left the game. If you can target those incentives, or like in the NHL, a player needs, last night, Connor McDavid needed 1 point to get to 100 for his career. He got that 1 point. Now, you would have had to lay a lot of juice to bet him to get only 1 point. But I think in the non-NFL sports, there are ways to take advantage and capitalize on the market because the sports books aren't digging too deep into those milestones and incentives as they do in the NFL.
How many goals does Mike Evans need tonight to reach his incentive? That was the big one, week 18. That was ridiculous, too. Remember that in the final week of the season where the Bucks were still playing for the division, a playoff spot? It's like, oh, no, we got to get Mike Evans an extra, whatever, $500,000. I know it's a lot of money, but for a guy that made like tens of millions of dollars, let's keep feeding him. Let's keep feeding him. They give him like a standing ovation. He came off the field. So, yeah, these players are aware of it. I'm not sure that the books are always as aware of it as it looks like Tampa just went deep. I can't tell who hit a 2-run homer, but it is now 3-1 Rays, and they take a lead here.
So the home run was by, let's see, 2-run shot by
Caminero.
Junior Caminero. All right.
It's going to be good.
Listen, I am going to tell you something that you're not going to believe.
Okay.
But I will show you the bet on my phone.
Okay.
And maybe I should just wait to see if it actually cashes before I show it to you. But you know how I bet Jazz Chisholm to hit a home run in this game, right?
Yes.
I parlayed it with Junior Caminero to hit a home run.
Oh, boy. You better hope Fez isn't listening. He's going to fine you for pass posting.
A separate bet. It was a separate bet. It was a separate bet.
Parlay, too. This is going to be a double fine.
It was a separate bet, okay? And it was just a sprinkle. The main bet, I'll show you. I got the main bet on Jazz Chisholm. I did a full-sized bet or full home run prop bet on Jazz Chisholm at plus 500. But then I said, you know what? For fun, let me pick another player in this Yankee game and pick somebody from the Rays, and I did the two-leg parlay of Junior Caminero and Jazz Chisholm to go yard, and so far we have hit one leg of that parlay.
Now, here's the thing. I suggested a parlay to you last night about one of the games. No, don't do parlays. Parlays are for suckers. Play them straight up, which is not bad advice. It's good advice, but sometimes we don't always follow our own advice. So you're going to be stewing if Jazz doesn't go deep and you miss one on Caminero.
I know.
You're going to be upset with yourself. By the way, did you see that homer? That was a very effortless swing. It was just it seemed like a routine fly ball to right field. I don't know how much of that was the dimensions. I'll have to see the StatCast and how far that went, but that was just lefty pitcher, righty batter, just an easy swing, fastball away. He goes with it, fly ball to right, and that was like you said, it's similar dimensions to Yankee Stadium. That's a Yankee Stadium-esque homer because that was nothing more than a semi-routine fly ball. That kid's really strong, or the dimensions played into it. But that's not like that was a towering homer. But 3-1 Rays here, they've taken control.
378 feet, a home run in 15 of 30 ballparks.
Okay, that kid's strong then, because that ball. Did you see the swing? That was pretty effortless. Wasn't a bad pitch. It was just fastball away. He went with it, and 378 feet later, that's a homer. So that kid's going to be good, big time prospect. So
plus
the Rays can go ahead.
Plus 2,000, by the way, on the Caminero and Chisholm home run parlay.
Yeah.
Plus 2,000. So let's just get a Jazz Chisholm home run next inning would be great. But yeah, that Junior Caminero bomb.
You can't even hedge, right? You can't even bet a no because the no is going to be so ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't bet the no.
Yeah.
Unless like I do one of these lightning bets like you're talking about and go and do Jazz, bet him every like plate appearance. So the next plate appearance, get it like bet like in play out or strike out. But that's not even a true hedge because there's so many other outcomes that can happen. What if he hits a double? What if he hits a triple? What if he's like anything can happen, a walk. So Jazz is going to get up next inning for the Yankees. So something to keep an eye on with that bet. Boy, that is exciting stuff. Live line right now on this game, by the way, is Rays minus 330 with a live total of 10.5. I know the answer is going to be no for you already. I would say, is there any interest in the Yankees for you? And the answer is going to be no, right?
No, I want to wait. First of all, Judge just batted, so I want more. I want a better spot in the lineup up. And I want Bradley out of the game. I think Bradley's got really good stuff. That's why I like Tampa in this game. I just think Tampa's got better pitching. Tampa's got the better pitching matchup. Warren against Bradley. Bradley's really good, swing and miss stuff. I think him and Baz, like Tampa's got a habit of just finding pitchers, finding players. Now they've gotten off track here because McClanahan's been hurt the last year and a half. Wander Franco with the disaster and everything that happened with that, but they find players. Baz is really good. Baz looks like a Cy Young candidate. This kid Bradley pitching tonight's good. So Tampa's got to have it. They're a good organization. They don't have a lot of money, spend a lot of money, but they've got an ability to find these players.
You mentioned a tremendous point that I think we have to reiterate when it comes to live betting a Major League Baseball game. Know where you are in the lineup. Know who is coming up next inning. Sure. Don't just look at the game and say, you know what, I'm going to bet this team to come back or I'm going to bet this total to go over. Know who is due up. And if you have the heart of the lineup coming up for a team that you want to live bet the following inning, then, okay, that's great. You want to bet a live total? You want to bet that team to come back? Great. But if it's 7, 8, 9 coming up, or even worse, like 6, 7, 8, so there's no guarantee that even if you get one guy on base, you're going to get back to the top of the lineup. 6, 7, 8 coming up, you don't want a part of that for a live bet. And you mentioned that for the Yankees, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 coming up next inning. which is Volpe, Chisholm, and Escara. That is not a time to live bet the Yankees. Although when Jazz Chisholm hits a home run, it will be a great celebration here on the program. He's Will Hill. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It's VSiN Primetime right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're going to get into the NBA playoffs coming up in a little bit. About an hour from now, we'll be joined by Zach Cohn, our very own from VSiN.com. Zachary does a great job of breaking down the NBA, has tremendous articles up on VSiN.com right now previewing the NBA playoffs. Will, you and I were live betting and looking at the play-in games last night on the program. We have the resumption of the play-in round coming up tomorrow. We are already in on an under bet between the Heat and the Hawks, where Miami has flipped to the favorite. I think that's surprising.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, I don't know, is it surprising to some? I mean, I thought I was spot on when I gave the line of what I thought it was going to be with Atlanta minus 1.5, but a lot of love for the Miami Heat. Actually, we are back down to a pick 'em. So DraftKings still has Miami minus 1, but here at Circa, the game is a pick. So I don't know if I have to check to see. Let's see, did Circa go up to 1 and then back down? Yes, they did. So
FanDuel opened 2.5. FanDuel opened Hawks minus 2.5, and I thought maybe like 4 for Atlanta, maybe 4.5. So I was off, but even at 2.5, that seems to be the wrong number. The market likes Miami. I'd be a little leery. I lead Miami in the game. I'd be a little leery of recency bias. We just saw Miami win. We just saw Atlanta lose. Oh, let's go bet Miami. I think there's maybe a little bit of that involved. But look, you got Spoelstra, you got Hero and Bam, which are 2 all-stars, borderline all-stars, probably better than anything Atlanta has. So I get it.
He's Will Hill. I'm Scott Seidenberg. More breakdown of the play-in round for tomorrow coming up next right here on VSiN Primetime.
Oh, Mrs. Garcia, how do you balance it all? You're a school counselor and new homeowner, a mother of 2, and grad student. You're an ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we're dedicated to your professional growth through faculty mentorships and career support, so you can focus on what matters most. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg and Will Hill back here with you on VSiN Primetime. It is going to the top of the 4th inning. Yankees and the Rays from Tampa. Jazz Chisholm will be batting second in the inning for the Yankees. And we have not a live bet, but we have a pregame bet on Jazz Chisholm to hit a home run. If you wanted to bet it live, I saw plus 900 to bet it live. Let's see if there's any other, plate appearance by Jazz Chisholm, home run. Now plus 1,100 on DraftKings if you want to bet it live and have a little sweat, sweat with me if we can hit this bet. But we'll keep you up to date on what happens there in that at-bat. We were talking about the NBA play-in round. The Heat take on the Hawks from Atlanta. That's your first game, and then your second game tomorrow night is the Mavericks at the Grizzlies. Memphis down to a 6-point favorite. It was 6.5. It has been bet down to 6. The total at 221. If you had to take a guess, Will, where do you think the market pushes either the line or the total for the Mavericks against the Grizzlies?
I think the spread probably stays around 6, depending upon the availability. I think it's baked in that Ja Morant plays, that he's just not 100%. And once he gets announced in, maybe you get a little bit of a bump. Are you really cutting in line to bet any more than 6, 6.5 with this Memphis team who has not been great the last quarter of the season? I'm not. I do think extra day of rest, they're home. They probably have enough to get by. Dallas team is playing second game in 3 days. What kind of shape is Anthony Davis in? He hasn't played a lot of the year. Can he play, big time minutes on Wednesday in an elimination game, then turn around and play Friday in an elimination game, both of them on the road, some travel in between? I think Memphis wins, but I'm not looking to lay the 6. If I had to take it or lay it, I guess I would lay it just because. Look, Memphis is kind of being disregarded, and if they do win, I'm sure everyone's going to pick the Thunder to either sweep or gentleman sweep. That Warriors team that everyone loves, that was a kind of a toss-up game with a minute or so left. So maybe we're sleeping on Memphis a little bit. Like I said, they're home. They're more rested. I think they win, but I'm not dying to lay 6 here. What do you have any thoughts on this game?
I can only look at Memphis just because I want to fade Dallas off of that performance. Anytime a team, defies expectations and by that much, they were big dogs in that game.
Right.
And everyone was talking about Sacramento, and Dallas comes in and just whoops them. A total blowout, a domination from start to finish. I want to fade the team that is coming off those defied expectations. Maybe that was their playoff victory. That was, the game where they could celebrate and have Nico be in a good mood when he gives his press conference, which maybe he'll do again, final press conference to send them into the offseason. But I can only look at Memphis here in this spot. Curious where the total goes. Opened up 222 down to 221 because it's an elimination game for both these teams. Does it lock up a little bit more defensively? We saw that Memphis first game, go over, but the second half went under, and the Dallas first game went over. So these teams are coming off 2 overs. I don't know if the market's going to overreact to that.
Single elimination game, unders will probably be the play. Can Dallas score enough in the half court too? I mean, there's no Kyrie. Davis is a great, two-way player, but he's not going to just sort of pick you apart on offense. That's not his game. As it looks like the Yankees hit into a double play after Tampa ended the inning with a double play. Bases loaded, chance to extend the lead for Tampa. They hit into 2, and then the Yankees just hit into 2. I think that was that Jazz. I think it was. Sorry to hear that. You got a couple more at-bats. You get your 9 at-bats to the road team, so at least 2 more at-bats, maybe 3. So we'll see. But, probably the under or anything. To me, the other game, and I'm curious if you have anything on Heat Hawks. Again, I'm cautious of all right, I bet against them. I saw them win, and I bet against them. Now I'm going to jump on them. You don't want to be late to this stuff, but Hero, Adebayo, Spoelstra, to me, that's better than anything Atlanta has. I get the movement to the Heat. If I had to bet it, I haven't bet it yet, except for the under, which we gave out last night when it came out. I would pick Miami, but again, am I cutting in line to bet this stuff? No, I'm not. And I do worry, too, a little bit. The Bulls were so bad on defense last night. The Hawks are not going to be that bad. I think it'll be a little bit different in terms of that, but I would pick Miami to win. Right? How about you? Do you have anything besides the total here?
Besides the total, nothing on the sides. I do want to go under Trae Young points, though.
Okay.
It's at 26.5. I'd like to go under Trae Young points in this game. So I'm on the under for the game. It's a correlation, but I'm on the under for the game, and I would go under for Trae Young. Fast forward to
familiarity too. Last thing I was going to say about this, familiarity. They play in the same division.
Yep.
They play a bunch of times all year. I think that lends itself to under, where I think this works in football too. Division games, when you're familiar with them, with each other, it's more of a chess match. Slows down. Miami likes to play slow. Miami plays good defense. So I think that's more support for the under.
Yeah, I think, again, the only bet that I was looking at was that Trae Young under 26.5 points. Fast forward to Saturday, and we'll do more Saturday preview coming up on tomorrow's program, but is there a bet on Saturday, whether it is, if you have a series bet, that's great, but for an individual game, has anything jumped out to you for Saturday's game ones?
I haven't bet game ones yet. I've made a bunch of series price bets, series correct score, series spread. And, like baseball, there's so many ways to bet this stuff. Plus a team, plus games with a team, plus 1.5 games or whatever. Over 5.5 games for a series. You can bet just the game individually. There's so many different ways to attack your handicap if you have an opinion. I did take a chance. I think you're opposite on this. I think the Pistons are live. I know it's a little trendy, but they have been a legitimately good team the last couple months, both sides of the ball. I don't love the Knicks defense. And I would suggest this. They're about 3-1 on the money line to win the series. If they're going to win this series, they're 9-1 to win it in 6. If they're going to win, it's going to be hard to win game 7 in MSG. They're probably not going to sweep or win in 5. The sweet spot is 6, where, all right, we'll steal a game early, then we'll just hold serve and win in 6. So to me, bang for your buck. Maybe you take a unit and you split it on Pistons for the series. Pistons, I just don't think this Knicks team is good defensively. I know that building's going to be rocking, but I do like the Pistons. We can get to some of these West series, but are you Oppo? You like the Knicks here?
Yeah, I'm on the Knicks in game one. I bet the 6.5. The 6.5s are gone. I believe Circa still has a 6.5, but it's mostly 7 now across the board. Let me double check here. Yeah, still 6.5 here at Circa. 7's pretty much across the board. Yep. So if you want the 6.5, you could still get minus 6.5 at minus 115 here at Circa. I think the Knicks, with that crowd and that energy in game one, it's going to be very hard for Detroit to kind of silence that noise. I know that since Brunson came back, and maybe he came back a little bit early just because they wanted him to get the 65 games to qualify for postseason accolades, awards and stuff. So they wanted him to be able to, whether it's a clutch player of the year or any type of nod for Jalen Brunson, they wanted him to get those 65 games. So maybe he came back a little bit too early, but they haven't looked great since he's been back. But what they did do is they stayed afloat when he was gone. And there's not many teams in the NBA that can lose their best player and still maintain. And that's what impressed me a little bit about these Knicks, is that whether it was OG Anunoby dominating the ball or just Karl Anthony Towns having a night, they were able to maintain and lock up that 3 seed without Jalen Brunson. So with Brunson back, it's kind of like we saw yesterday, or 2 days ago, I should say, playoff Jimmy, right? And Jimmy Butler just completely took over the game and was the best player for the Golden State Warriors. It wasn't Steph Curry. It was playoff Jimmy. Well, what's been better than playoff Brunson, for the Knicks? And if he doesn't get hurt, in last year, it's a different story. But, I think that game one especially is where I want to attack it. And I think the Knicks get out to a strong start to this series with a big game one win.
I could say it should be a good series. It's a fun series, kind of an old school throwback. These teams met in the early 90s last time they met in the playoffs. So, Knicks they've been good the past couple of years, but they went a while without being good. The Pistons went a while. So it's good to have sort of the two blue bloods here meeting up again. And we're running up against it, but I'm fascinated by the Western Conference. I think the Thunder are going to roll whoever wins the 8-9 game here, but I think we could have 3 7-game series. Minnesota, LA to me is a toss-up. I think that the Clippers Nuggets is a fascinating, very competitive, loaded series, and I like Houston plus a game and a half against Golden State. I think they have some advantages in terms of youth, physicality. They're bigger than Golden State. I don't have the guts to pick Golden State to lose this series. I just think with Kerr and Curry, they're going to win. But I think getting Houston plus a game and a half, where if it goes 7, you cash your bet, I think that's a good way to play it. But we should have a good first round. Like I said, the regular season has been kind of a dud and just not that interesting for a lot of aspects. But I think we're looking at a really good, really competitive postseason here.
Yeah, I do like a lot of these series total games bets at the over 5.5s for a bunch of these series. Hey, horse racing fans, get ready. VSiN at the Track. The road to the Kentucky Derby is live tomorrow and every Friday leading up to the Triple Crown. With key Derby prep races this weekend, they're going to be breaking down the top contenders for this year's Run for the Roses. Join experts Mike Somich and Aaron Halterman tomorrow at 2:10 p.m. Eastern on the VSiN YouTube channel at VSiN Live for expert analysis and insights. Don't miss it. VSiN at the Track, tomorrow streaming live at 2:10 p.m. Eastern as we count down to the Triple Crown. I'm Scott Seidenberg alongside Will Hill here on VSiN PrimeTime.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Scott Seidenberg alongside Will Hill here on VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network. Sidney Crosby with just an absolute gorgeous behind-the-back, no-look pass for the assist as the Penguins get a goal and now lead 3-1 over the Capitals in the second period. Rangers a 1-0 lead over the Lightning. Still sweating out my Rangers team total to go over. Going to need a lot of help for that to happen here. A goal in the final 2 minutes of this period would certainly go a long way into making that happen. Will, we left off talking about the NBA playoff series, and I talked about how I like some of these over 5.5s on the betting markets. Now, a lot of them are heavily juiced. You're talking about the Pacers Bucks is at minus 175 to go over 5.5. Nuggets Clippers is minus 200. But one that is intriguing to me, it's not an over, it's an under. The Knicks Pistons. I know you talked about how you like the Pistons, but I want you to take out your bias here for a minute.
How dare you?
And I want you to let's just call it Team A and Team B. Okay? Team A is minus 400 to win a series against Team B. Yet the over 5.5 games is minus 125, and the under 5.5 games is plus 105. When you see Team A as a minus 400 favorite to win the series, are you more inclined to bet under 5.5 games or over 5.5 games?
I understand your point. They're an overwhelming favorite, and for such an overwhelming favorite, why do we expect this to be a coin flip between 6+ or under 5? You sold your bet well.
Thank you. Plus 105 for under 5.5. The math's not mathing here, Will.
I could see too. Look, even though I'm on the Pistons, if you have home court, you're the higher seed as the Knicks. As looks like a home run for the Yankees. I can't tell who hit it. Might have been Rice. So it's 3-2 now.
I hope it's not Rice, because you asked me before.
I don't think it was.
Because when I said I bet Jazz Chisholm, you were like, "What do you think? What do you think about Rice?" And I was like, "Ooh, I do like Ben Rice to hit a home run." So it was, I think, Rice. It was. It was Cabrera. There you go. Oswaldo Cabrera. Okay.
If you're the Knicks, if you win the first 2 at home, you split 3 and 4 in Detroit. You got a chance to close it out in 5. So the path is there. So I get it. I understand it. Even though I'm on Detroit, I think you're onto something here. So I understand.
Again, it's the math to me. That's what it is. It's I'm seeing all these series that it makes sense that the over 5.5 is juiced for these series where you look at the series price and it's minus 110 split both ways for Clippers Nuggets. That makes sense that the over 5.5 is minus 200. Where you see even a minus 190 or a minus 165, the Pacers over the Bucks. Okay, you want to give me an over 5.5? That makes sense. But for the Knicks to be a minus 400 favorite for the series, and the over is still juiced, that makes no sense to me. Give me the under 5.5 games at plus 105. Celtics Magic. I mean, the Celtics are minus 5,000 in that series. I don't think anybody is taking think about that. The under 5.5 is minus 425 for the Celtics and Magic.
I would never lay that. I don't trust the Celtics. They get sloppy. They play with their food when they're much better than these teams. Plus, a couple things. The Yankees mounting a rally here. Man on, it looks like they hit a double here. So the Yankees are stirring here. Your bet is coming to life as second and third here. And that was Rice. So second and third with Judge coming up. Man, this was the time to bet to play the walk because there's a base open here. So, man, might have been in a bat too early. The Celtics and Magic have played them tough over the past couple of years. Their size, their length, their defense gives them a hard time. Celtics can get lackadaisical. I just don't know if Orlando can score enough to make this competitive. I did play Orlando game 1 team total under 94.5. I just think Boston is home. They're rested. They're hungry. I think there's been a malaise with the regular season, which is natural. When you finally win a championship, you're just going to come back the next year. You're not going to be as hungry for the 82-game season. I think they've been just saving up their energy here, saving up their intensity, and I think they have the matchup here to shut down Orlando. Orlando's got Banchero and nothing else. They can either tell Powell, hey, do whatever you want on offense. Nobody else is going to beat us, or they can double him. There's nobody else that can make him pay. For Orlando, barring a really frenetic pace, Orlando to get 95-plus points, I think is a stretch. So I like Orlando team total under. Maybe Orlando wins a game in the series. Maybe they win 2. They could be feisty. They're not a threat to really win the series, but I do think they're going to have a hard time scoring.
I want to go through some fun bets that are available on DraftKings right now in terms of Game 1 series double bets. So like a double result, okay? Here's what I'll give you. Pacers to win Game 1 and Pacers to win the series is plus 110. Let's see. Nuggets to win Game 1 and Nuggets to win the series is plus 155. In that same series, Clippers to win Game 1 and Clippers to win the series plus 245. Knicks to win Game 1 and Knicks to win the series minus 190. I actually think that's great. Lakers to win Game 1 and win the series is minus 110. Let's see. Celtics to win game 1 and win the series is minus 800. Warriors to win game 1 and win the series is plus 155. Rockets to win game 1 and win that series is plus 235. Any of those stand out to you?
I haven't done the math. I just assume with these, they're ripping you off on the juice. So I don't look at these a lot. You said you like the Knicks one?
Minus 190 for the Knicks to win game 1 and win the series. They're minus 400 to win the series.
What's the money line for game 1?
Money line for game 1 is, well, they're 7-point favorites, so minus 285. So if we take a minus 285 parlayed with a minus 400, we have to do the calculator on that. Let's see. I'll calculate that right now. Parlay calculator.
And obviously it's correlated. If you're going to win game 1, you're much more likely to win the series. So I get it.
That's what the bet is. So we got a minus 400 to win the series is their series bet. And what I say the money line was, minus 230?
Yeah.
You are at, so the payout is 70 on a $100 bet. It's 79.35. So that's that would be, let's see, $79 on a minus 190. It's 52. You're actually getting more money. That's a good bet.
Aaron Judge walked, by the way.
No way. No way, dude. Did that really happen?
Yeah. What do you mean? Of course.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow is right. Yeah, I'm sorry, too.
Okay, a parlay of minus 230 and minus 400 is minus 126. So you are getting significantly juiced. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Makes sense. All right. Calculator is there. This is why I get it. This is why you do the math, but just kind of looking for some fun exotics here with the series.
Sure.
How about this?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know he walked. I'm sorry, bud. How about this? Would you be interested in betting an NBA Finals MVP or a Western or a Conference Finals MVP instead of what the futures market is on that specific team?
Sometimes there is one I saw. I don't know if it's currently up. They've been up and down. I saw Derek White 55-1 Eastern Conference Finals MVP at FanDuel. My buddy Mike actually pointed this out to me. To me, he shoots a ton of threes as the Yankees. He looks like tie on a fielder's choice here. So we are 3-3 here, brand new ball game. He's got the variance. He's played big games in the past. We've seen Tatum not get this award. To me, 55-1 for the team that is favored to win the conference to begin with. I think that's a hell of a number if you can still find that one. FanDuel had it. I'm sure nothing has changed, so I'm sure it's going to still be in the same neighborhood once it reposts. Is there anything on your radar, and what do you think of White?
I don't hate it. It's just because
it doesn't sound like you. No, it sounds like you hate it.
It's just hate it. Listen, I got burned last year with Tatum as the Finals MVP. Okay?
Oh, I remember that.
And I thought that the narrative was going to come in, and yes, Jaylen Brown. He was awarded the Conference Finals MVP. I thought those two guys would split it, right? So I got burned there. So, when it comes to like voted on awards, it always happens this way. I think, though, if you're just looking at like math and you're looking at, an interesting path here, the Lakers to win the Western Conference, if you wanted the Lakers to win the West, they're at plus 600, the second favorite to win the West. But you can bet Luka to win the Western Conference Finals MVP at plus 1,200. You're getting double the odds for Luka to be the MVP of the Western Conference Finals. If the Lakers win...
50-50 shot, don't you think? 50-50 shot, him and LeBron gets it?
LeBron's plus 1,500. I don't think it would be LeBron. I think it would be Luka. We can debate this, though, coming up here. Unlock your winning edge with an unbeatable offer. Here's where the math really comes into play. You can get VSiN Pro access to everything we do through August 1st for just $59. If you sign up now, you're going to save 50% off the regular monthly price. Now, that's math. You'll get the daily email recapping all the best bets from the hosts and the guests, exclusive betting splits from both Circa and DraftKings, plus 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, and full VSiN.com access. Every sport, every edge, one low price. Don't wait. Get full access through August 1st for just $59 at vsin.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. He's Will Hill. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It's VSiN Primetime. Right? VSiN.
Mrs. Garcia, how do you balance it all? You're a school counselor and new homeowner, a mother of two, and grad student. You're an Ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we're dedicated to your professional growth through faculty mentorships and career support, so you can focus on what matters most. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back here on VSiN PrimeTime, I'm Scott Seidenberg alongside Will Hill, always on Twitter, at Scott's On Air and at Not The Will Hill. The Yankees and the Rays are tied at 3 as we head to the bottom half of the, what are we, in the 5th inning now. Live line, Rays minus 120, and the live total at 10.5 as we are tied at 3. I did, during the break, Will, place some bets on Jazz Chisholm's next at bat. So, to recap, I have a pregame bet on Jazz Chisholm to hit a home run at plus 500. If that happens, great. He leads off the inning, though. So I took Jazz at plus 700 to walk or get hit by a pitch. And then I also did Jazz to get a single at plus 800. So if he gets a home run, great. I'll cash that plus 500. If he gets a single, great. I'll cash the plus 800. And if he walks or gets hit by the pitch, great. I'll cash a plus 700. He's 0 for 2 already with a pop-up and a ground into double play. But leading off the inning, I think there's a different approach. I think leading off the inning, we see Jazz take a pitch, especially if Taj Bradley is out of the game. Bradley has thrown 76 pitches, 8 hits, 3 runs in 5 full innings. Maybe it's a new pitcher coming in, and if it is a new pitcher, I like it even better for Jazz to take the first pitch or two and see what happens over the course of his at-bat. What do you think of that handicap on Jazz to walk at least?
Yeah, I like it. I don't think we'll see a new pitcher. I would think they would give Bradley another inning, but who knows? Starting to be third time through the lineup. Maybe they want to get him out of there.
Yeah,
we'll see. Does Jazz walk out? Do you have the on-base percentage in front of you?
Jazz on the season's on-base percentage is 266.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, it's not.
It's not.
He talks like it's 466.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of him, but I
6
think
walks.
He got a decent handicap here.
6 walks in 18 games.
Yeah,
It's not
all
great.
Right, I feel like I introduced you. This is these markets. I feel like I opened Pandora's box because you love these now.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And again, you have to pick your spots. Like,
Yes.
I think leading off an inning versus, as I expect, maybe you would be better if you actually knew this data. If I was following along and watching this game and listening to the play-by-play announcers,
Right.
I would know if, hey, they have guys up in the bullpen or this guy's coming out of the game. Let me see. I'm going to try and see if there's any beat reporters that have tweeted anything out about Taj Bradley. Maybe he is.
I've been peeking up at the game. It doesn't look like they have anybody warming. And usually when the starting pitcher's done, he's getting like the congratulations or the coach is talking to him and they kind of show him in the dugout. Like you kind of get the sense that his night is done. I haven't seen that. So it doesn't mean he's not, doesn't mean he's not done for the night, but I get the sense he's going one more. We'll see.
Again, they usually don't like to send these guys a third time through the lineup. This would be the third time facing Jazz. But it is the bottom of the lineup, though. So if he can get through, like this would be one of those cases where you let him go, I guess, against Jazz. And then after Jazz, it's going to be J.C. Escara and then Jason Dominguez. Maybe you don't let him face Cabrera again, who homered off of him. And you certainly don't let him face Goldschmidt a fourth time. Like, he's not going through the lineup a fourth time. But you're right. Maybe they let him get through Jazz and the next couple of batters as well. Again, I'm trying to see if I find anything on Twitter that would say that either he's done or, highlighting his night. And this is what I mean by, if you're listening to the game, if you're watching the game and you hear the announcers mention this, these are good ways to handicap it. If it's a relief pitcher coming in, and if I know that it's a relief pitcher coming in, I like the guy leading off the inning to at least see one.
You know, it's a good one too. Now that I've introduced these to you, anytime you think Mason Miller's about to come in, and you can have a book that leaves up the opposing team's batter, the plate appearance, and it might match up against Miller. Strikeout is absolutely 2-1. Anything over 2-1, he strikes out everybody. I mean, I think he came in, it was last night or the night before, and basically struck out everybody he faced. So if you can kind of get ahead of that and see that Miller's coming in with a lead, or this might be a guy or a spot in the lineup where he comes in, you get some good numbers because he is a strikeout machine. Absolutely.
How about Junior Caminero, who he had that home run, right? That was an exit velo of 104 off the bat, off that home run. And then he just singled with an exit velo of 105.4.
It's a real deal.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he is. He's a highly touted prospect. And I mentioned the Rays have a habit of finding these players. Now, Wander Franco, that got off the tracks and probably not going to play again in the big leagues. He was on pace to being, he looked like an MVP type player. Caminero's good. McClanahan's been on the aisle. So they've been, it wasn't that long ago where the Rays were, best record in the American League that year. The Yankees couldn't catch them, and then the Yankees lost the playing game to the Red Sox. The Rays have had some good seasons, some good teams. No McClanahan, and everything that happened with Franco set them back a little bit. And obviously they have payroll issues, budget issues, but that's a good organization, a smart organization. They have a tendency to overachieve. Cash is a good manager. They've had some good teams. They've just had some poor luck with McClanahan and Franco, which has set them back.
Caminero traded to the Rays from the Cleveland Guardians for pitcher Tobias Myers back in 2021. Tobias Myers now pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. So, bit of a swing and a miss there.
Yeah, it was. Ben Wilson's not going to like hearing that one.
Bit of a swing and a miss. Let's update you on what's going on the Major League Baseball scoreboard and your live betting opportunities right now. Speaking of those Cleveland Guardians, they trail the Orioles 6-2 in the ninth inning. Your live total is 8.5. And is this? Let me see. How did Tomoyuki Saguaro do? The Japanese import who got the start here for the Baltimore Orioles, as Saguano, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs allowed. All right. Okay start. Tanner Bybee got rocked. 6 runs in 5 2/3 innings. Going to the 8th inning, the Tigers have a 4-0 lead over the Royals, and the live total there is 4.5. So they don't think there's going to be any score there in the 8th inning or the 9th inning. If you think you're going to get 1 run in the top of the 8th, bottom of the 8th, or top of the 9th, maybe worth a little bit of a flyer there on a live over. Mets still with a 4-1 lead over the Cardinals in the 6th inning. Your live total is 7.5. And the Rangers have opened up a 4-1 lead on the Angels. Your live total is 11.5. And that one's playing out pretty much exactly how we thought it was going to play out, Will.
Yeah, I wish I pulled the trigger on Texas. Figured that offense was due to turn things around. Rocker, we'll see, was a big-time prospect at one point. His numbers haven't been good, but you figure Texas is better than what they've shown, and Garcia just hit a monster home run before that, so they now lead 4-1. And the Yankees, 3-3, 5th inning, 1 out for Tampa. Tampa's got the bases loaded with a chance to take a lead. Yarborough, I believe, is still in for the Yankees, gets a strikeout, and then he gets out of the inning with no further damage, no damage at all. So we are 3-3 heading into the 6th. Feels like there's been a lot of base runners, a lot of scoring opportunities in this game, where 6 runs on the board feels like we could easily have 8-9 runs, because it's been a lot of left on base for both teams. Yankees just had the bases loaded an inning before, and Tampa, I think the inning in the top of the 4th, I'm saying bottom of the 4th, I should say, bases loaded in a 3-1 game, and they had to do double play. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of base runners here for a team where traffic on the base path has been an issue.
It was Tim Hill who got the final 2 outs there for the Yankees, including a strikeout and then that ground out. So Tim Hill was on the bump for the Yankees. Yankees have left 5 runners on base. The Rays have left 9 runners on base. If you had the over 8, like, you're still looking okay, because it's 3-3. It's 3-3.
You should have won already.
Exactly. It's 3-3. You're at least going to get your 7th run at some point, right? Because if it stays tied 3-3, you're going into extra innings. You have to get the 7th run. But the odds are you're going to get more than 1 run with the ghost runner for both these teams. So you're okay with if your pregame over 8. In fact, your live total right now is at 9.5. So you're sitting pretty. But with all those runners left on base, you're right. Well, you should have cashed this one already. So kind of feel I don't feel bad, but kind of feel bad if you were unable to cash that bet. We're going to get back into the NBA coming up in a couple of minutes. We're going to be joined by our very own Zach Cohn. You read his work on VSiN.com, does a tremendous job breaking down the NBA. We'll get his thoughts on the playing games for tomorrow, but also the series, which will begin coming up here on Saturday. Lots to get into with our very own Zachary Cohn. I want to remind you guys, you can unlock your winning edge with an unbeatable offer for VSiN Pro access to everything we do from now through August 1st for just $59. That's 50% off the regular monthly price. You can go to vsin.com/subscribe, check out that deal, get full VSiN Pro access for just $59, vsin.com/subscribe. That includes the access to the VSiN Watch app where you can watch us and listen to us, and you get, of course, the daily email with all the bets from the hosts and the guests, including, as I mentioned, Zachary Cohn, who will join us coming up next. He's Will Hill. I'm Scott Seidenberg, always on Twitter at @NotTheWillHill and at Scott's On Air, and of course, at VSiN Live. This is VSiN Primetime here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.